This is a video for the new year. I thought it might be nice to share my process for starting the new year, which I've been doing the last few years, which is basically creating a page in my art journal for the coming year. So just a quick explanation of what I mean and what I do. It's, first of all, what it isn't. It isn't about setting a New Year's resolution or goal for the year. It's more like a word of promise, of hope, of what we'd like to support us in the year. And to do that, I'm just using a simple sketchbook. You could use anything. You could use any kind of paper. You could use pencils, acrylics, watercolour. So I'm going to start by going back to last year, to 2020, a year I don't think any of us will forget. And at the beginning of the year, I had no clue what was coming. But what I did was this painting here. And the way I do it is just to work intuitively rather than to plan. So you can plan if you like. I just let the ideas kind of percolate around and see what emerged. So I started this with no idea of what word was really going to come out. And the word that came out was emerge. But funnily enough, at the time, it felt slightly, although it seems like a positive word, it felt slightly edgy, and I couldn't understand why. Now looking back, I think it was just about being able to emerge out of what was going on. Coming now to this year, I've already started. So I'll show you what I've done, and I'm going to see what else comes. So this time I had the word pop into my mind first, and the word was behold. So this is on paper with acrylic paints. I'm just going to show you, just to give you an idea. So as you can see, both images are very different from each other, but it's the same process of just playing the paint on paper and seeing what emerges. So although this is finished, I feel like I want to carry on and do a bit more with the word, with the new year. So that's what I'm going to do now, and see what emerges out of it. So I've got a new blank book and a blank page to start with. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing clearly enough, but the idea is just, it's not about you following me and copying what I'm doing. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what I do and what you might like to have a go at. And a good starting point, I think, is just to settle in first of all. So I'm just going to talk us through a few minutes of settling down in a meditation. Again, just do what you're comfortable with. So if this isn't for you, you can just fast forward. But otherwise, just get yourself sitting comfortably, feet on the ground if that's possible, and just let your hands rest on your lap or by your sides. So sit with your arms and legs uncrossed. And if you're comfortable doing so, you might let your eyes close. There's no need to breathe in any particular way, so you're just breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And just letting your breath settle down. Just breathing in, breathing out. Letting your breath find its own natural rhythm. So just letting your focus go onto your breath just for a few moments. Being with the breath as it comes and goes. In each moment, breathing in, breathing out. Just settling down, grounding down. Letting the rhythm of your breath soothe and soften you. Letting go of any thoughts about the past. Letting the past year go and welcoming them for New Year. Just letting an intention arise to greet the New Year, to enter. And maybe just let your mind go over things that you'd like to support you in the coming year. So, phrasing things in the positive, not saying what you want not to do, but saying what you'd like to do, or what you would like going forward. That might be to have good health, or just look after yourself as best you can, look after other people around you. And when you're ready, we'll come back to the table. So, find a blank piece of paper of whatever description, and to start with, you want to have with you whatever you think you're going to need. So I've got a selection of pens. I'll just show you. Just a selection of different pens and different size brushes that I might want. A jar of water. I'm going to use watercolour this time, so I've got one of my watercolour palettes, and I've got some pencils, coloured pencils. So I've got some watercolour ones and some ones that aren't watercolour. So what I suggest we do to begin with is to take some coloured pencils, which can be watercolour or not watercolour, if you've got any. If not, just use what you've got. Use pencils or felt tips or whatever you've got. Now, because I'm using some watercolour, I'm going to be adding water afterwards, so the words will start to disintegrate. If you want to keep the words permanent, then don't use watercolour pencils. So just to give you an idea. And I'm just going to write some of the words that we've just been thinking about. So you write what words are relevant to you. And this doesn't have to be for anyone else to read, so it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be readable even. The only important thing I would say is not to put any negative words on, to keep the words in the positive. I'm not talking about positive thinking, that's something different. We're not trying to do positive thinking here, but what we are doing is focusing on what we want and not what we don't want. And just let your hands pick what other colours speak to you. So when we're doing this kind of art, we're trying to let the thinking mind just rest and just letting our more intuitive side kind of be in touch. And just do as much as you feel like. I might also, when it's dry, add some pencil or pen on top. That's another possibility. So I think I'll stop in a minute. It's not finished, but I need to let it dry. So I've been working a lot of wet on wet. So I think I'll stop in a minute. It's not finished, but I need to let it dry. So I've been working a lot of wet on wet. So I hope you've been able to have some time to yourself and have a so I hope you've been able to have some time to yourself to do this, and maybe got something from it. Maybe someday I'll see what you've done.